Competitive athletics celebrate the young, but some of South Africa's unsung heroes are over 35 years, and in their age groups, they are of the best in the world. A relatively small South African squad of 22 athletes entered the World Masters Athletics this year, competing against 4,000 other athletes from 86 countries. South Africa claimed 10 gold medals, but 6 of those were won by the dynamic trio now tagged the Golden Girls. South African race walkers Hildigard, Edna and Ronel Botha are all 2022 world champions in their discipline, race walking.
I was just praying as I was going along, please, Lord, just keep me strong, let me just go, you know, don't let me get tired.
Does it still give you goosebumps when you get onto that podium and you hear the national anthem? How does that feel?
It does. It actually brings tears to my eyes. People don't realize how much work goes into it. It was a lot.
It was very unreal, very emotional. I never expected it, and on the day, everything went my way.
At 60 years, Ronel Botha is the youngest of the trio. She's a maths teacher, but she finds time to train most days of the week.
I can't do without it. I'm absolutely hooked.
At the Boksburg Stadium track, Ronel and her coach 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶 warm up, and then he starts with a masterclass. The rules are strictly observed. At all times, one foot must be on the ground, and the leg must be straight.
Okay, shoulders nice and down, okay? It's just the arms that swing.
Cool.
All right, and now we're gonna go forward, and there we go.
Oh.
That's it, that's it.
Carl is a sought-after coach. He's been involved in competitive race walking for half a century since he was at school. And then, as a competitor, how easy is it then also to get disqualified with all of these rules that you talk about?
That is exactly the point. Mm-hmm. You want to participate right on the edge of what is legal. Mm-hmm. If you're not on that edge, then you haven't pushed yourself to the limits.
The fear of being disqualified keeps a competitive race walker in a state of constant focus.
So there's a number of judges around the track. So you come around, you see on the DQ board,
yes,
you've got 3 red dots, then you know, well, okay, next time you come around, you're going to go into what they call the 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶. Okay,
sure.
So there you stand, depending on the distance, 30 seconds for 5K, 1 minute for 10K, 2 minutes for 20K, 3.5 minutes for 35Ks. Okay, that you stand.
Have you ever been in the 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶?
No,
No,
not.
I haven't.
Must have a good coach, eh?
Yes.
My athletes
Don't go to the 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶.
hardly ever go to the 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶.
So, Ronel, this is your Wall of Fame, right?
Yes.
What are all these medals for?
They mostly provincial champs and some SA champs.
One's from Finland up here.
Yes, yes, that's
this one over here.
And there's
This was your gold.
Yes, and the podium photo next to it with that very long smile.
Ronel won her gold medal for the 20-kilometer race. Her 70-year-old friend Edna took the winning streak further with 1 silver and 2 golds. Self-taught, self-funded and self-motivated, Edna has been race walking since she was in her 40s.
I was always practicing with the runners, so it sort of forced me also to get faster.
To try and keep up,
yeah,
right?
try and keep up, yeah.
Yes.
And I just seemed to have that competitive edge because I enjoyed it. So I always tried to improve and to get faster.
Edna's participation in local races keeps her on form and her spirits high. She's won a treasure trove of medals in this endurance sport.
For national
So these are like your SA colours, eh?
Yeah, these are the SA championship.
But until this year, Edna had never attempted to test her speed on the global track.
I thought, oh my gosh, I've never been overseas, so how on earth am I going to do this? This is very scary.
So it was your first overseas trip to Finland?
My first overseas trip as well. So I contacted...
So many firsts, unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Life started again at 70.
Initially, Edna was not going to attend the World Masters Athletics because she simply couldn't afford the cost of flying overseas. But her friends and family rallied around her and started raising funds to make sure she got onto the track. Edna's next-door neighbor, Yvonne, offered to be the chaperone, and they set off on a big adventure.
When I speak about this, I want to cry again, because I was there for the 5, the 10 and the 20 kilometers.
Hier kom my buurvrou vir 20 kilometer vir 'n goue medalje. Hier kom sy. Fokus, fokus, fokus. Fokus, buurvrou, fokus, fokus, fokus.
I was crying. I was taking the photograph, but I was shaking so much.
There are no professional camera crews to capture these triumphs, but Edna's family and friends were monitoring her every step on WhatsApp. And by the time she got home, she was a hero. Winning gold at 16 is one thing. Then at 70 years old, that's another. But clinching not 1, not 2, but 3 gold medals as an octogenarian athlete, now that's in another league altogether.
I go out every day. I do speed work, hill work, distance. I can get in 10 Ks, I can work at that, I can get in about 18 Ks if I go down all the side roads.
Hilda postponed a painful toe operation until after the championships. She has 6 pins in her feet altogether, and 1 foot is in a boot. But the veteran athlete is impatient to get back on the road. She has her race routines finely honed.
When I do a race, for a 5K, I buy goo gums and I cut them in half and I stick it where I shouldn't. And I just stick it in and then I take out, because that's the most convenient place when I'm moving.
Of the 3 golden girls, Hildigard has the most mileage on the clock, having competed in 8 world championships. But in her final 20 Ks this year, she ended up racing against herself.
I was on my own in an 80. And that's quite hard for me because I like a carrot.
Yes.
I like.
Yes.
Anyway, so I got in and I was doing okay. And then it started to rain and then it really downpoured when I was doing the last 17. And I can't race walk in
rain,
the water and that. And not only that, I was a little bit reluctant with the falling. At this age, I've got to be very careful.
The 3 of them is going to surprise the world even further. Edna and Hildigard are stars on their own. Rela just entered the fray herself now. So each one of them in a different age category. And that is what is making Masters Athletics so exciting.
I'm very competitive.
Yes.
I'm very competitive.
But for these champions, it's not just about the sport or the winning times. It's also about the deep friendships they've made along the way.
There's a camaraderie amongst the walkers that I have never found anywhere else.
It was just like we were a little family from, together there. So it's nice.
Walking, winning, and celebrating together. These are South Africa's golden girls.